Hey there, guys, it's Mia here. I am so excited. I am so excited about this quick live tonight. I'm going to teach very simply how to stop settling, and how to build a life that's more intentional around the things that you want to manifest and create for yourself. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. I got started in my company over 20 years ago, and I got started making the decision I no longer wanted to settle. I did not want to settle. I didn't want to settle and work hours that I didn't want to work anymore. I didn't want to settle and not be available to my family. I didn't want to settle and undervalue my skills and my talents and my gifts. And maybe, just maybe, you have felt exactly the same way. I coach women, smart, sharp, ambitious women who want to figure out how to package their know-how, their knowledge, their expertise, their background, their gifts, their talents, and they want to stop settling. They want to figure out, how do I renegotiate the way that I earn? How do I, instead of getting paid hourly or trading time for dollars or some salary and that has a cap on my income and I have no control of my time, how do I renegotiate that? And if that's you and those are questions that you've asked, you're in the right place tonight. I am so excited about doing this live tonight. It was on my heart. It was just one of those things that came to me because I listen to women all the time who have absolutely settled. And tonight I'm going to break down the different areas that you might be settling, that I've settled over the years, but I've decided for myself, like, I'm not settling, right? In order for me to manifest and live my best life, I have to show up tall for myself. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant, and I'm so excited to be here tonight just to be able to touch one, two, 100, thousands of women, millions of women around the world, and support you with understanding that you're special. You're special. And that if you settle, you never get to be in alignment with what your purpose is. And it's something that I absolutely know. If 20 years ago, I understood that my gifts would make room for me, literally. And it's something that a lot of spiritual minded people have said and we think about, but we never really think about what it is to show up in that way. And I know for myself that 20 years ago, all I wanted to do was figure out how I could work from the comfort of my home, how I could be available to my family in ways that were imaginable, unimaginable, how I could date my husband in the middle of the day, how I could be better to me because I could own my time. I did not want to have a cap on my income, but it was a pipe dream for me, I thought then, but it wasn't. And I made a decision to invest in myself with many different coaches over the years. And as a result of that, I've built a business that my life is truly unrecognizable. And today, what I do is I show other women how they too can package their knowledge and their know-how into high-ticket coaching and consulting, and they can go to work as themselves. And I remember this conversation I had with my husband 20 years ago when I started my business. And I said, Pat, I want to go to work as myself. And he was like, I hope somebody will pay you to be you. And they have. And I wanted to do this live tonight because I think the reason that so many people don't hit and exceed their goals it's not because of your talent. It's not because of your know-how or your skill set. It's not because you don't create impact or results for others. It's because of the utter settling. And I'm going to talk about that in many different areas tonight from my heart, because maybe, just maybe, you'll hear one component of how you're settling and you'll say, that's me, and you'll course correct. And as a result of that, you'll be able to step into that next for yourself. One of the biggest ways that we settle, and I've done this over the years, and it's something I constantly fine tune, are relationships. So what do I mean? That means that sometimes you may have friendships that are not congruent with your highest good, that are, I would say people who want you to win, help you to win. And I want you to think right now about relationships that you might have in your life, in your world, where you are the sole depositor, you are the main contributor, you are the person that when you think about it, you're like, there's no reciprocity in the relationships that I'm choosing for myself. It is an absolute settle. And I hope that if you hear this, you'll say, that's me, or that you will course correct for yourself and say, look, you deserve to have relationships that are reciprocal. One of the things that I realized for myself is that I'm a giver. Like I love to give. I love to over deliver. I love to show up for the people in my world in amazing ways. But in order to sustain that level of giving, you have to have people who equally show up for you. Otherwise, what it does is it chips away at your infrastructure. And a lot of times we never think about it from that perspective, but relationships often is a huge way that we settle in our lives, in our world. Maybe you don't have relationships in your world that are congruent. They're not people who are pulling for you, cheering for you, clapping for you, or it could even be making deposits in the same way that you make deposits. And things don't have to be balanced, which you understand that, but they do need to be reciprocal in some way. And if you don't have that and you don't have that requirement in your relationships, it is an ultimate settle. And I hope that as a result of hearing this, you'll think like, what do I need to do to up level what it is I'm doing in my world as it relates to relationships? I decided for myself that like if I have friends or friendships in my world, I am always going to be that friend that's going to do everything I can to help my friends win. But my friends must also be proactive in wanting the exact same for me. Relationships could equally extend to your colleagues. It could extend to anyone that you're interacting with on a daily basis. Anyone that you're interacting with on a daily basis, and your goal is that while you are fanning their flame, that they are also fanning yours. And if you don't see that that's happening, or that you need to post a reminder, right? Hey, are you clapping? Did you remember? Then it lets you know that there's not congruency in your relationships and your requirements. And it is an ultimate settle. And I will tell you that it's one of those things that gets in the way of what your next level looks like. The best thing I can ever tell you to do is just to release it, and release release the things that are not congruent for you in your world. Today, what we're talking about is how to stop settling. And I think one of the biggest ways that people settle are relationships. It's true. It's like you know that you're a giant in many ways in terms of how you give, how you love, and how you lead. And yet, when you think about the people in your world that love you, who are leading in your world and providing examples for you to follow, or who are taking care of your most intimate assets, your heart, your mind, things like that, that there's no consideration around what that looks like. And it's time for you. Hey there, darling Lisa. It's time for you to up level what that looks like. Does that make sense? It can look like, sometimes it could professionally, it could look like you're the person with all of the resources. You're the person with the amazing Rolodex. You're the person that can make the connection for all the people in your life and in your world. But when you need to be connected to whatever it is you need, you're like, why is that not as easy for me as I make it as easy for others? I want you to think about the ways that you are settling in your life. And then I want you to set an intentional plan for yourself around how to up level that area. Another area of our lives that we settle is sometimes we know what we need, but listen, all right, I know I'm going to step on somebody's feelings on this one, but it's so true. You know what you need, but you don't choose what you need. You choose what you believe you can afford. Just hanging it with me, okay? Listen. So instead of you choosing what you know will make a difference for you, you choose what you believe you can afford. And I can tell you this, that when that happens, it's an ultimate settle. It means that your mindset doesn't understand how to value your brilliance, your talents, and your gifts. And if that's the case, it means you'll stay in the exact same place or worse, moving forward in your life and your world. And I'm just breaking this down. The fact of the matter is, every single time I've ever moved to that next level for myself, I've always invested in the highest and tallest solution for myself, because even before I could see it, I believed it. And I can tell you that if you're not doing that for yourself, it's an ultimate settle. There should be like 3 million hearts on this, because it is. And I want you to think about the things that you've invested in, the things that you've paused on, the things that you put the stops or the brakes on, because you're trying to find that just that right time. But think about what it's costing you. Look at how you, as a result of settling, you decided to buy some low-level course that was never meant to be the full solution for your dream, your magnificent dream, your gifts and your talents. And now you spent all of this time engaging, interacting, associating with that which is not for your highest good. And this is not about selling or promoting anything. This is about you understanding your value and your worth and saying, I'm worth stepping into that next level of what that looks like for me. How do you ever walk someone through a journey of owning all of what you bring to the table when you don't own yourself enough to invest in yourself at the highest and tallest level? And I know that I'm calling some of you guys out, but I want you to hear me. It's the ultimate settle. I'm my number one investment. And if there's anything or anyone I'm going to invest in, it is me. All right. And I understand that every person in my world, they're the benefactors of every investment I've ever made in my life, because I think differently, because I operate differently, because I believe differently. I'm able to create amazing results for myself, not from some ego perspective, but it's true for you too. And if you're that person that you're settling, you hem and you haw, or you wonder, like, am I worth it? Or should I do it? I want you to think about this, right? Because it's one of the things that's getting in the way of you being the highest for yourself, living your tallest and most amazing dream. And I'm speaking from my heart because I see this so often with women who come to us and they've made choices for themselves, not based on what they needed, but based on what they believed they could afford. And because of it, they've been derailed. They've been hoodwinked. They've hoodwinked, right? Hoodwinked. Um, they've been, they've just been on a journey and they've been lost because they couldn't own for themselves that they needed something that was intentional. And maybe that's you. And if it's you, stop it. Okay. You are brilliant. You're amazing. Give yourself every single thing you need. Give yourself the shot that you need in order for you to create the most amazing results for yourself. You deserve the best. Why would you give yourself anything less than that? Number three, I always have to count, right? But number three, the other way that we settle is not achieving the biggest and highest and the tallest thing that we can. And I see this a lot with women. Like, maybe you should be selling something for 10 grand or 20 grand or 50 grand or 100 grand per client. But instead of that, you're like, let me start with that $97 thing, because you didn't watch all these people have all these free challenges who at the end of the day don't really have any real customers that can ascend with them because they're not qualifying their clients. And you just are following along, right, on a path that isn't yours. It's not true to you. You're settling. You are so much bigger than that. The fact of the matter is you create amazing results everywhere you go. And why are you trying to be a minion when you've never been one in your whole life? And I know this is controversial, and I know it'll shake the shoulders of many, but I hope that it will, and it'll get you to understand that that is not where you're supposed to play. When I started my business 20 years ago, I never sold low ticket. I've never ever sold low ticket. My lowest program was $2,400. Coaching my clients, it was like my first program about 18, 19 years ago. And I recognized the value of the transformation I could provide for clients. And if you don't understand this, it's the reason why running your business, your coaching business, your consulting business, licensing, what you do is hard. It's hard because of the choices that you're making, because of the value that you're not seeing inside of yourself, because you are so busy following and copying the examples of people who do not even hold a flame to you. And I mean it in terms of your talent, your skill, and your education, and your ability. And you're doing it as a compromise, it's a settle. And it's time to just like show up for yourself, right? Decide that you want to be a category of one. Understand that you are a giant in every single way, and show up for yourself in that way. Another settle is being afraid of, literally, it's being afraid of your light. And I see this a lot with people who are very, very talented. They're afraid of their light, they're afraid of their giftedness, they're afraid of their talentedness, they're afraid of what happens, right? Because a lot of times when you're very talented, the doors that open don't just open, they fling open for you. And you know what I'm talking about. People just invite you to things, people want you to do things because of who you are and what you represent. But sometimes when we are uncomfortable with being that light, we want to slow things down. And it's an ultimate settle to the gift. It's an ultimate settle in your life. And I will tell you that when you do that, it means that you're not in community with people, in my opinion, your ambition level and above. Because if you were, you would say this is normalized. Like this is what happens when you're a giant. But when you're not, then you feel like, you know what? I don't know if now's the right time. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I don't know if I can deliver on this. And I can tell you that you're absolutely meant for the things that come to you. And that if you don't stand up and show up tall for yourself, it's a settle for you and your life and your gifts and your talent. If you're brilliant and amazing, you're never going to be happy with the average. And the truth of the matter is, you kind of become comfortable with the uncomfortable. When I hear people that say, I'm just comfortable, it's like comfortable people do very little. And most of the people that I've ever met that achieve extraordinary success, they do things that make them uncomfortable. Every single thing that I've done that has been extraordinary and new for me, I was uncomfortable doing them. Great example, when I first time I shot my first segment for a national syndicated show, I had never shot on a nationally syndicated show. I had never had three cameras shooting me at the exact same time. I never had the opportunity at that time before then to shoot without any kind of cards or a teleprompter or anything like that. I never knew that that level of resources would be behind me, and that my talent alone was enough to command that audience and command that respect for the gift. And I had that doubt in my mind, but I knew that I had the ability. I just want you to understand that you need to understand that the things that are coming to you because you are ready for them. And if you don't have the level of accountability to call you out when you get afraid, it means you settle. It means you think you're not ready. You talk yourself out of being brilliant and amazing. You talk yourself out of charging at the highest and tallest level. You talk yourself out of all of the things that are coming to you easily and effortlessly because you're scared. And it's true. And because you don't have a culture of success around you. And if that's you, I'm calling you out. I hope you hear me. I hope you hear me. Okay. All right. And then another way that we settle is that we settle because of the opportunities that we think are fit for us. And I see this all the time, and maybe this is you. I see so many people who are talented and amazing, and they say yes to speaking engagements that they really shouldn't be a part of. They say yes to opportunities to coach people for low ticket that they never should be a part of. They say yes to working with people that they never should be a part. They say yes to things because they don't have standards for themselves. And I'm telling you that the differential and the separator in your life is understanding like what you bring to the table, and that you have to really respect the gift. Let me explain this. Now, for me, I am very picky for myself about who I learn from and who I work with. And I can work with you, but the moment that you lack integrity, you lack respect, you lack authenticity, I will never work with you. The moment that I'm working with anyone and I'm not growing from them, they're not helping me to be the highest and best level of who I need to be, I'm out, like Audi 5,000 to the 100th power. All right. And I want you to think about this for yourself. And so many people are not very discerning as it relates to that. They are just like all in with everything. And I'm really just not that person. I've learned over the years that I have to protect the gift. It's very, very important. And part of that is who I learn from and who leads the direction of where I'm going to go. And as much as I want to learn great and amazing things, integrity is everything to me. Authenticity is everything to me. And if anything or anyone in my world lacks those things, I'm out. I'm not going to betray myself ever. Um, I'm not. And I see people do it, all the time. They choose things that are smaller than what they should. And then they are more concerned about how other people feel than themselves because they are unsure of what being giant is like. And I can tell you that in order for you to hit the levels that you want, to touch the people you're meant to serve, you've got to really always focus on protecting the gift. You got to protect the thing that matters the most, and that's your focus. Authenticity is your superpower. And I'll talk a little bit about that. To me, one of the ultimate settles, number 5, is not being authentic. And that means being a duplicate or a version of someone else. Why would you ever? Did you like how I said that, right? Why would you ever? Okay. The fact of the matter is, you are you. You are amazing. You are distinct. You are gifted. You're talented. There are things that you have experienced that no one in this world exactly have experienced like you. There's your unique story, your unique gifts. And imagine if you leaned all into the power of what that is, and you decided that you were going to leverage it, in opposed to being a smaller version of someone else. And I hope that you hear my heart on this, that I see so many brands who are a smaller version of someone else, and that's their level of comfort. But when you decide to be like someone else, what it does is it instills insecurity inside of you, because you know that you're not being all of who you are. The truth of the matter is, I love rocking this girl right here, right? All of her years of experience, but her background as a corporate trainer, the fact that in my sleep, I could build curriculum that's 6 figures plus for any being a client. I can help you position your knowledge and package what you do as a high level brand, position it and sell it to corporations, not because I say so, because I've done so, not only for myself, but for hundreds of clients that I can demonstrate. And I hope that you're able to own the gifts and the talents that you do by being authentically you. I'm just breaking this all the way down, because the truth of the matter is that a lot of people aren't authentic because they're not being truthful. They're not telling the truth. They feel uncomfortable sharing what their shine is, what their special talents and gifts are. And you're expecting your ideal clients to come directly to you. They'll never come to you if you don't tell the truth. And the fact of the matter is that being authentic is your superpower. It is the thing that allows you to be secure. When I tell you the number of clients that have come to me over the years, and they've all said, like, the reason I like you is because you like you. People are very attracted to people that like themselves, that are connected to themselves. I like you because you love your family. I like you because you are a mom and you don't. I like you because of how you've shown up for your family. Because when we show up and we can be authentically who we are, not some fake version of someone else. The fact of the matter is, your ideal clients will come to you even more, and they'll reach out to you and they'll ask you how they can work with you over and over and over again. And I know we live in a world of shiny objects, but I hope that you understand that there's plenty of room for being real, okay? And that there are tons of people out there that are looking for you, that want to work with you because you are who you are. And I hope that there's something that I'm saying to you today that really connects with you and that allows you to create that shift or change, and think about how you might be settling, because you're like, oh, this person's talking about this. Oh, this person's blogging like this. Oh, this person's podcasting in this way. And you're thinking that's the direction you're supposed to go. The only direction that I follow is the one that when I wake up in the morning that God tells me to follow. And I hope that you will listen to what is inside of you, and that voice is higher than anything else that's on social media or anything or anywhere else for that matter, okay? Any person or anything, all right? And then the other way that we settle is undervaluing our gifts. And it's something I talk a lot about, but it's not something that everybody understands, because the truth of the matter is, a lot of times when you're selling, like undervaluing what you do, you don't even know that you're undervaluing what you do, because it's your way of thinking, it's your lifestyle around how you've shown up for yourself and your gifts and your talents. But I can tell you that if you're like, where are the clients? Why am I not working with the people that I want to work with? It's most often because you're not attracting the right people because of how you're valuing yourself. And people who want to create amazing results want to work with people who have certainty. And if you don't have certainty and belief in what you do, it's a settle. All right. No one else is going to believe more in you, more in your products, more in your services than you do. And if you aren't getting in the way of the kind of profitability that you in life that you deserve, you need to do all that work, like whatever that's going to take, whatever you need to read, whatever you need to listen to, whoever you need to work with in order for you to step into the next level. And I wanted to do this live tonight specifically because it's something that I hear all the time. Smart, talented women that don't realize that the reason they're not where they want to be, it has nothing to do with anything other than what's between their ears, right? This brain right here. And the fact that they're settling, that they're accepting a smaller solution than the greatest and highest choice for themselves, making that a priority for themselves, understanding that, you're worth it. And you are, okay? And I'm very picky about who I spend my time with, who I associate with, who, all of it. Like, that's really important that you surround yourself with a circle of people who want you to win. And the moment that you recognize that the people that are in your world that are chipping at the infrastructure of who you are and what you have and whatever it is that you're doing, you got to let them go. You got to release those people because they're not part of your highest good. And it's a settle. And not to acknowledge it, not to step into it. Come on, it's a settle. And it's not always politically correct. It's not always comfortable to do. But most things that are great that change our lives aren't. Did you guys get value from this today? All right. I hope you got value from being here today. I wanted to come on live tonight and just talk about how to stop settling and really the ways that we settle, that sometimes we don't realize that we're settling, but we are. And it's the thing that's getting in the way of your next level. Like, imagine, like, wanting to get to your next level and not wanting to invest in yourself at the highest and tallest level. Come on. You kidding me? Like, imagine wanting to invest in a band-aid in opposed to something that is the highest and tallest. You know this, Robin, right? The highest and tallest skill for yourself. How are you expecting to see from the heights of what it is that you want to do and you invest in the valley? Like, you're never going to see it. It's not happening. All right. So it's really coming to understand for yourself, like, it's a settle and doing that work and saying, what do I need to do to not settle? And sometimes settling is just giving your gifts and your talents to people that just can't value them. Sometimes it's giving your love and your consideration to people who just don't respect them. Sometimes it's not really showing up for yourself tall in amazing ways that can absolutely change your life. Are there any ahas or takeaways for being here tonight, as a result of being here tonight? And even if you're watching a replay, which most of you guys will, then what are your ahas? What are your takeaways as a result of being here? And if I can support you in any way, if you want to package what you do at the highest and tallest level. Now, I'm going to be very clear. I'm only for you if you're an investor in yourself at the highest and tallest level. And I'm only for you if you have the ability to create results for others and you are high integrity, meaning what you do works. All right. And if you are looking for a way to be able to step into that level and you're comfortable being in the company of other women, your own ambition level and above, I'm for you. All right. Other than that, I'm really not for you. All right. And it's just flat true. There are plenty of environments you can go to where everybody wants to sit around and sing kumbaya and create a website and call that a result. But that's not real. All right. And at the end of the day, it's not what things look like, it's what they really are. And you've got to show up for yourself to create amazing talent or to leverage your amazing talents, or it's an ultimate settle. All right. Final call. Any ahas or takeaways as a result of being here tonight? I am so excited to have had the opportunity to be here because you could have been anywhere, but you decided to be here tonight. And as a result of being here, I hope that this live really supported you in showing up for yourself. So Robin writes, giants grow around other giants, right? It's so important that you show up for yourself. And thank you for sharing that. And I love that picture of you. Okay. And thank you for sharing that. It's so true, right? Giants show up for other giants. And if you're in the company of other people and you feel uncomfortable with being around people who achieve more than you, then you need to do a checkup from the neck up, because that's what it's about, being around people who are that do things that grow you and you can learn from. And anything other than that is an ultimate settle as it relates to association. All right. So I hope that this has supported you in some way, again, I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant, and I look forward to supporting you at miaredrick.com. You can sign up for my free webinar or a strategy session if you're looking to package your knowledge into a high ticket product on or offline in the next 30 days. I'll talk to you soon. Have an amazing night or day.